अस्सलाम वालेकुम एवरीवन, कैसे हैं आप लोग। सर अभी एक लेटेस्ट न्यूज़ आपके साथ शेयर करना चाहता हूं कि जूलियन एमपी ने की एक मीटिंग थी अभी, जिन्होंने उसमें इंटरनेशनल स्टूडेंट्स के हवाले से बात की और साफ बताया गया कि दैट लेबरर्स हैव अटैक ऑस्ट्रेलियन यूनिवर्सिटीज़ थ्रू आउट कोविड-19 इसमें बताया। और बाकी जितना मतलब इनको पास्ट 2 ईयर्स 15 मंथ से जो मतलब इंटरनेशनल बॉर्डर्स नहीं खुले, जितना लॉस हुआ इकॉनमी को इनके ऑस्ट्रेलिया को, और इसमें बारे में फेडरल गवर्नमेंट के बारे में बताया कि वो मतलब कि इस तरह एक्सेप्ट वगैरह नहीं कर रही जो स्टेट्स वगैरह की हैं पॉलिसीज़। और उसके बाद फेडरल इसमें स्कॉट मॉरिसन के बारे में बताया गया है और भी बहुत सी बातें बताई हैं, आप ये वीडियो में देख सकते हैं। और ये मैं आपको बता दूं कि ये एक दिन पहले की वीडियो है, ये नहीं, अब मैं आपको ये नहीं बताऊं कि आज की वीडियो, ये एक दिन पहले की वीडियो पहले ही बता दूं, क्योंकि फिर बाद में लोग बोलते हैं कि ये पुरानी वीडियोस शेयर करते हैं। तो जिन्होंने ये वीडियो नहीं देखी वो ये वीडियो देख लें।
The member for Bruce.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. It'll be hard to pick the silliest bit of that previous speech, but I think the funniest bit is the claim that the government was concerned about the over-reliance of universities on international students. This is coming from the government where the Prime Minister, when he cut $2.2 billion only 3 years ago from universities, another little cut that he snuck into the budget, he said, well, they can go out and recruit more international students. Literally. The government only 2 or 3 years ago said, go and recruit more international students, and now they're saying, oh, they're a bit reliant on international students. I mean, we couldn't have that. It's nonsense. I saw this motion on the notice paper, you're flicking through thinking, what's up for debate? And I thought, it's got to be a joke. It must be April Fool's Day. But no, this is trolling the parliament. Government MPs congratulating themselves on what we're seeing as the decimation of the university sector. It's a waste of debate time, and I noticed the member who moved the motion's not even here. She ran away. No wonder. Quotes from the motion. Congratulations, government, on supporting universities through the pandemic. No JobKeeper. Just about every other sector in the country got JobKeeper, but not public universities. In fact, they changed the rules 3 times to make sure that public universities didn't get a cent of JobKeeper. The latest level of job losses is 17,000. That's just the jobs from position descriptions that were on org charts. Probably, I'm not exaggerating, tens of thousands more jobs, if you look at the ABS labour force statistics, have been lost. Casual teachers, researchers. We hear government speakers going, oh, we care about STEM. Well, they don't care about the hundreds and thousands of laboratory researchers walking out of science labs because they have no funding. Scott Morrison, or the Prime Minister as we call him, did nothing to stop the job losses. I would hate to see what UMOB think supporting universities look like. And then the motion talks about, well, we gave $1 billion this year. Well, I have to say this year, because the $1 billion is being cut in the budget that they just handed down. There's a crisis in research, as the member for Toorak over there should well know. A crisis in research. A crisis in research. International students have lost billions from universities. They make it a culture.
The member for Bruce will resume his seat. Member for Bruce will resume his seat. Is the member for Higgins wishing to make a point of order?
Yes, please. I'd prefer.
When the member for Higgins wishes to make a point of order, one makes a point of order and then doesn't just sit down.
My apologies, Chair. I'd like to make a point of order that I've been incorrectly referred to in this chamber, and I think it's quite offensive.
All right. The member for Higgins will resume his seat. The member for Bruce has the call.
Yes, indeed. Recession and recovery. We're in a recovery from a recession. Surely even this mob of incompetent Neanderthals understand this is not a culture war. Universities are not an elitist thing. They're critical to the national economic recovery. They're critical. It's actually about improving our productivity. You fund research to improve economic outcomes. And yet the government's removing the $1 billion in this budget. Shame on them. This motion talks about giving $903 million over 4 years for domestic places. What hypocrisy. You wouldn't need to do that. The government wouldn't need to do that if they hadn't capped places in the first hand and cut billions of dollars from universities. And then we hear them talk about the job-ready graduate program. They don't talk about the fact that the latest figures from Senate estimates point out, the government's own admission, that fees for university students in this country will rise 16% over the next 3 years because of the job-ready graduate program. They've lowered the repayment thresholds, so young people have to repay their university debts earlier, making it harder to climb up that ladder of opportunity when they're saddled with debt. And we hear about the destruction of our fourth biggest export sector. Gas actually overtook it. $40 billion, but it's more than just money. These are human beings. The Prime Minister's shocking lack of empathy, he stood up and he said to students, well, if you don't like it, go home. Of course I understand there's a pandemic. Of course it's not easy to get students in at the moment, but you don't have to tell them to go home. You could show some empathy. The lobsters got their own plane to send them to China. The students got told to go home. Quarantine and vaccine are Commonwealth responsibilities. The Commonwealth has taken no responsibility for quarantine. The vaccine program is an embarrassment globally. Doesn't matter how much the Prime Minister spins it. Imagine if Labor had presided over this vaccine mess. There wouldn't be enough black ink to print the newspapers with the banners. The government should treat international students better and stop congratulating themselves on the decimation of universities.
Order. Members' time has expired.
सेवन वीडियो आप लोगों ने देख ली होगी। जूलियन एमपी ने इंटरनेशनल स्टूडेंट्स के हवाले से बात की है कि मतलब कितना ज़्यादा लॉस हम इकॉनमी को हो गया पास्ट ईयर्स में, और मतलब इस ईयर में कितना लॉस हो रहा है। बाकी आप थ्रू आउट देख सकते हैं कि उन्होंने सिर्फ लॉसेस की बात की और जो इंटरनेशनल स्टूडेंट्स के वीज़ास थे उसके बारे में बात की है। और बाकी ये वीडियो मैंने इसलिए बस शेयर की, सोचा बस ये वीडियो तो जिन्होंने नहीं देखी उनके लिए मैंने शेयर की है। बाज़ लोगों ने, ज़्यादातर लोगों ने देखी होगी ये वीडियो। सो अगर आप लोग मेरे चैनल पर नए, प्लीज़ सब्सक्राइब टू माई चैनल ताकि मेरे आने वाली जो भी लेटेस्ट वीडियोस हों आप तक पहुंच सके। थैंक्स फॉर वॉचिंग।